Hi everyone, this is Jim with the City of Lakeville's Communications Department, and welcome to another Chat and Ride. And we have a double feature this time on Chat and Ride because we're talking to two members of the Lakeville Police Department, and they are called CSOs. I'm going to have one of the CSOs tell you what that stands for, and the CSO I'm with now is Jessica. How are you, Jessica?
Great, how are you?
Great. Why don't you tell us a little bit what CSOs are and what it is that you do with the Lakeville Police Department?
So CSO stands for Community Service Officer, and there are part-time and full-time community service officers. I work part-time. People who work as part-time community service officers are in school currently to become police officers. So that is a requirement if you want to work as a community service officer, is that you currently have to be enrolled in a program to graduate and become a licensed police officer.
We have another CSO that's joining us, and this CSO is Randy. How are you today, Randy?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good. So we're getting two for the price of one, and we can find out exactly what CSOs do here from two perspectives. So Randy, tell me a little bit about what you do as a CSO and how long you've been on the department.
Sure. I've been on the department for 2 years as a full-time CSO. We'll help traffic accidents with traffic control. We'll do motorist assist if somebody's broke down, provide lights, or we have all the equipment to change tires and jump batteries. We handle animal calls, lost dogs, stray dogs, barking dogs, things like that. And then on the other side, where we support the department, basically we'll do anything it takes to keep the department running. We also transport prisoners to and from, or to the Dakota County Jail. So basically anything that they need us to do, we're here to do.
And you are not technically what they call a sworn officer, correct? So you can't arrest anyone or write tickets. Am I correct on that? What is the difference between you and a regular police officer?
So the difference between ourselves and regular police officers is that we are not sworn, so therefore we do not carry handguns. We cannot make arrests, and we do not drive marked squads that say police. Our squads are very unique. They're white, and they say on the side community service for Lakeville Police. And another thing that makes us different is that we don't respond to in-progress calls.
Nice, fantastic. You also have a distinction in the department as being bilingual. You help with Spanish language interpretation. You want to speak about that, talk about that a little bit?
So both of my parents were born and raised in Mexico. My husband is also from Mexico, so Spanish is our primary language at home. So I didn't know that Lakeville didn't have any native Spanish speakers. We do have a couple of people in the department that can speak Spanish, but it has been something that they've learned while on the job, whereas I have it native where we grew up speaking Spanish. And that has helped a lot with, speeding up some stops where translation is necessary, and in order to get the clear side of both stories, it's much easier to have me there and have the interpretation on the spot rather than, instead of getting it through the phone where you can't really see the person's facial expressions on when they're saying what they're saying.
And then what is your background? How did you get involved in the CSOs? Were you in law enforcement previously?
Yes, I retired after 10 years as a special deputy in Dakota County. I was also a reserve in Lakeville from 2000 to 2005. So that's where I kind of got exposed to Lakeville Police Department and wanted to come back and get involved again. After retiring from my full-time job, I was a project manager for United Health for quite some time. So.
Now earlier today we were chatting a little bit, and you said that you kind of got a late start to your career. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So ever since I was about 11 years old, I knew that I wanted to become a police officer. And so when I graduated high school, I went into law enforcement school right away. And then I got married and had my first child. And so I put school on the back burner. And then I went back to school in '06 and had another child. So then school went on the back burner again. And so last year I finally made a decision that, I was more than a stay-at-home mom. that I had a lot more talents to give, and I was going to finish my degree and set a good example for my kids. And so I re-enrolled in school. But before I did that, I actually called a police department and I said, I'm going to be 40. Am I going to be too old to hire? Because if I am, then I'm not going to go back to school. And they said age has nothing to do with it. It's whether or not you can perform the job. And so I knew that I could physically perform the job. And so that's all I needed to hear to sign up again. And so everything is going as planned, and I should be graduated in May 2020.
Nice. Now I understand you have a little humorous story you can tell us. It's kind of grown into lore around the police department and maybe even the community that you were the one that possibly apprehended an alligator here in one of the lakes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, back in April, I got a call that there was an alligator found coming out of the water at Antlers Park, so I was asked to come down there and detain it. It was a whole story done on it, and then it was actually done for April Fool's joke, so it was pretty funny.
So do you have any, Randy, do you have any hidden talents that you'd like to share with us? Is there something in your past or something that's a secret that not maybe everyone knows about that you have this talent for?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is back when I was in the Navy, I was a rodeo clown and bull rider in the Navy rodeo team. So I did that as a hobby. So.
Nice. Well, what was your clown rodeo name?
I didn't really have anything other than...
Wasn't Buttons or
No.
Twinkles or...
No. I don't know that they really named the rodeo clown.
You were just a rodeo clown.
Yeah.
Rodeo clown. So nice. Now, I have to ask you this because whenever we do chat and rides, I always ask this question. Do you have any hidden talents that you would like to share with us?
So this is my part-time gig. I'm actually a professional salsa dancer. No, I'm just kidding. Not a professional salsa dancer, but I can salsa dance.
Okay.
And I can play the flute.
And what is your favorite part of the job?
I mean, my favorite part of the job is taking DUIs to jail, because it's one less person on the road that's creating a hazard for kids and for families and for anybody else that's driving. And that's, one of the things that always drew me to wanting to become a police officer is, I'm passionate about getting drunk drivers off the road. So if an officer makes an arrest on a drunk driver and I get to take them to jail, that's a good day for me.
So Randy, I want to thank you very much for taking the time out to tell us what a full-time community service officer does here in the community of Lakeville. And I want to just kind of wrap things up by asking you if there's something that you could tell citizens when they interact with you. What is it that you'd like them to know when they're interacting with you?
Just that we're there to help them, and we're not trying to be difficult or mean or anything. That we are there to be helpful, and just try to remember to be respectful, and that we're just doing the job and trying to help in any way we can.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for what you do serving the citizens here in Lakeville.
You're welcome.
And now she's going to do a quick salsa dance. So I got...